Octane, Diesel. Lapping, on the other hand, has 3 creatures with a combined power of 1. Good news is he has 17 more equipment in his deck, so he has a lot of ways to power them up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned that Alex is supposed to have already won at this point, and that things are about to go downhill because he used a dispatch on a 1/1, which is going to come back to haunt him when that Consecrated Sphinx hits the table.
Right, exactly.
And
unless he's got another one, I don't know what he has in hand.
Why would he? Maybe it was a Spellskite.
Yeah, maybe that's the only thing I can think of, because I know he pointed at that Spellskite.
So Philip now has Squadron Hawks, Stoneforge Mystic, Teutonic Edge, Inkmoth Nexus, plenty of land, all his colors, and a handful of mythic rares. Alex has several walls.
I believe in his hand
One of them has a power greater or a toughness greater than 1. He has in his hand another Spellskite.
Power greater than 1.
Toughness.
What do you, are you talking about the Hex Parasite?
No, toughness greater than 1.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I was thinking toughness greater than 0, or power greater than 0.
So is that a Pure Steel Paladin?
That, I believe, is a Pure Steel Paladin from Alex.
So if Alex draws some nets, he can start drawing some cards here.
Yeah. Yeah, at the moment, I believe all that he's got in hand is a Spellskite and possibly something else.
Alright. The good news is, he's got a ton of live draws now. With
There's
this much mana,
second Spellskite, so he can really protect that.
No, he's just going to draw the... Oh, Stoneforge knocks down Batterskull. Surprise. So, we have Batterskull, Squadron Hawk, Stoneforge, 6 land. And from the looks of it, the Pure Steel... Well, Philip telegraphs that he has the Dismember and thinks better of it, realizing the Spellskite does more than nothing.
Yeah. He needs 3 removal spells right now to deal with that Paladin.
I don't know if he needs to deal with the Paladin, though.
Yeah, well, at the moment, you're right.
I mean,
as soon as he... if he can find some way to draw into some equipment. So the Mortar Pod takes down an attacking Squadron Hawk.
Why did he need to use that Dispatch? It's going to look so ugly when this Consecrated Sphinx hits. You ever have those scenarios where you have a Pure Steel Paladin and you just don't draw because if you draw, they'll draw 2 more? But I mean, I guess maybe at some point you just have to draw anyway because you've already figured they have more cards than they could ever do, you know.
Yikes. This is just not looking good for Alex right now.
Alright, so...
Does he have no cards in hand, though?
Yeah, but he could draw a Sword of Body in mind, which could at least let him hit through the Sphinx. He doesn't have any flyers, though. And it's tough because there's no pro Esper sword. And with a Germ token, a Stoneforge Mystic, and more Hawks in hand, and a Consecrated Sphinx plus Nexuses, Philip Coon has the all the bases covered. Stoneforge puts down the Feast and Famine because there is another angle that he does not yet dominate. Puts it on the Consecrated Sphinx. That matter has been addressed.
Yeah, so it's a 6/8. Spellskite blocks Batterskull.
Well, the Spellskite has a Mortar Pod on it, so it's currently a 0/5.
Right, so it can block Batterskull and let Philip gain 1 billion life.
Now, do we know if Alex drafted any pacifisms?
I think maybe this was just a really bad keep for Alex. I don't know. Looking at it
seems like he needs to have an early Stoneforge Mystic or Pure Steel Paladin.
Right, and he didn't have either of those.
Or a sword, you know, at least it's something to...
Right, something
or
impressive.
Something that can produce an advantage every turn.
He had Hex Parasite and Spellskite, both of which are way
I mean,
more
it's pretty good if you think your opponent's on blue-red. You know, if you think your opponent's just playing a twin deck. So, Philip, hitting with a Consecrated Sphinx that has a sword, has multiple equipment, card advantage, 4 lands to do things, 4 other lands, plenty of Hawks, a full grip. Alex has 2 Spellskites, a Hex Parasite, and a Pure Steel Paladin.
And that's a, what is that?
Is that a Spider Silk net?
I think it may be. It's tough to tell. the I don't know the Spider Silk Net artwork well enough.
Well, he paid 0 mana for it.
Yeah, so yeah.
So I can only assume. So the Pure Steel Paladin
Yeah,
is
it's
going to
definitely
live
Spider
though
Silk.
because
Spider
the
Silk Net.
wow.
So
Philip Coon pays 4 life to try to dismember the Paladin, but one of the spellcasts is a 0/5 from the Mortar Pod, so Alex just pays 2 life. I'm thinking that may have been a slight mistake on
what
Philip.
just happened? Why did it die? Where did it go? He just moved it in the graveyard.
Well, it's -5/-5.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Why did I think it was -4/-4? I don't know.
But the, I mean, I guess you just need to make him pay the 2 life. I mean, get rid of the spell skite at some point, but... And he draws a Flare Husk. He's going to chain some cards together.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to keep up with the Consecrated
I mean,
Sphinx. I mean, at this point, Philip Coon has 12 cards in his hand.
He's trying to deck him.
The problem is that Philip can stop.
Yeah, I know. It's a May ability.
And despite having drawn 3 cards this turn, he has added 1 more power to the board.
There's a Mortar Pod.
He draws a Mortar Pod. That's the 4th equipment, or the 3rd equipment, 4th card of the turn. It's going to be really hard to gain enough, or to Mortar Pod enough times to deal 16 damage. And that's even if you can manage to not get hit by Batterskull at all. Plus, I'm wondering what 14 cards Philip Coon could have in his hand right here that don't win the game for him immediately. I mean, at some point he's going to get a Stoneforge Mystic and a Sword of War and Peace, and he's going to attack, and he's going to gain like 15 life.
Yeah.
And probably kill Alex twice over. So, if you're just tuning in, Hero has a Mortar Pod, a Germ, a Flare Husk, a Germ, a Spellskite, a Hex Parasite, a Pure Steel Paladin, another Mortar Pod equipped to something, and a whole bunch of basic planes.
He's got Spider Silk Net and Mortar Pod.
Oh yeah, Spider Silk Net as well.
On the Spellskite.
Absolutely,
So,
when you can equip equipment for free. Middlecraft is achieved. Philip Coon, on the other hand, playing the part of villain, has Consecrated Sphinx, Batterskull, Stoneforge Mystic, Squadron Hawks in hand, Sword of Feast and Famine, tons of land that do things, and more cards than he could possibly use in a turn. Alright, what's Alex trying... So Alex is probably trying to combo out with Mortar Pod, I guess. Like, in theory, his plan is to keep chumping the Batterskull and shooting, and somehow chaining together 12 creatures, to like 12 germs worth of things to sacrifice. You know, if you can just keep playing Flare Husks... I mean, with Mortar Pod, each Flare Husk is a 1-mana cantrip, draw a card, deal a damage.
Yeah, I'm just trying to...
Unfortunately, the Consecrated Sphinx has a Batterskull on it now, and
Yeah.
Alex packs it in.
Okay.
So, we move to game 2. Alex definitely looking to get a more aggressive opening. What does he have in the sideboard?
He's got Archive Traps, Apostle's Blessing, Devout Lightcaster, Divine Offering, and 4 Firewalker. So Divine Offering, probably the only... Wait, I don't know. Apostle's Blessing, just protection from color, right?
Remind me again who you board Archive Trap in against?
Callblade. No, I don't know. I mean,
maybe
they do search their library an awful lot.
Right, and maybe if they're going to draw so many cards, are you...
Right.
Like, is that really how it is?
I
Are
mean,
you just going
he's
to try
like,
to deck them? Maybe.
I'm going to try to deck the guy that plays Consecrated Sphinx.
Maybe.
I mean, you know how good Archive Trap might have been right there?
I mean, if you don't bring it in here, where do you bring it in?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, maybe
It's certainly an
Valakut?
unexpected.
Are you-
Certainly unexpected.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see the archive, the quad pack of Archive Traps coming in. Apostle's Blessing?
It's just a protection, you know.
Yeah, probably not the matchup for that. Firewalkers and Lightcasters, obviously not the matchup for those. So we'll definitely see Divine Offering, but maybe you just bring in Archive Trap and get him.
Yeah, I would love to see.
Well, you can cycle through your deck so fast.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard for them to not search. I mean, maybe that's his game plan. If he is, this game could be awesome.
It really could.
Meanwhile, Coon is boarding in Well, surely he's going to bring in the Dismember. Do you think he's going to bring in...
I mean, he could bring in Divine Offerings.
Divine Offering is an option. Right, there's plenty of targets. Yeah, probably he'll have to bring in the Divine Offerings. And that's probably about it, you know? Divine Offering and Dismember?
Day of Judgment?
It's possible, but I got a feeling that too often all you're killing are germs.
Right. Maybe that's enough. I mean, there's...
Yeah, but he doesn't really have a lot of bad cards in his deck anyway.
Right.
So, we'll see. I predict mostly Dismember, Divine Offering, but he might bring in some spice. But nothing compared to the possibility for Archive Traps. Man, just knowing that we have the possibility of a turn 1 kill.
The tension right now.
Uh-huh.
Does he draw 4 Archive Traps?
Oh
I mean,
my god. Dude, just mulligan aggressively
just
to the
draw,
quad pack.
draw 3 Archive Traps, and then...
Put him on a clock?
And
wait till he fetches the stone for the Squadron Hawk?
Just draw the 4th right before he, on turn 1, right before he plays his Stoneforge, or on turn 2 actually, and then pass the turn, and he goes turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, search, you're dead.
Still had all traps.
Yeah.
Dude, like seriously, what else could he? Like he doesn't have any blue mana in his deck.
No, he's
so like
only playing it.
Like you're trying to get somebody.
Yeah.
Who else could you be trying to get besides Callboy?
Deck that searches all over the place, right? I mean,
maybe
it probably would work. I mean, it's actually probably better against Valakut because of the mountains.
Is it?
You lose the mountains. So you make them lose the mountains.
I guess. How many times are you going to do it though?
Right. I mean, I
maybe.
guess that's the thing. That's what people.
I guess how many are you doing against Callboy?
Right. It's just being able to hit enough of their mountains to keep the Valakut, to just shut down the Valakut itself. I guess he was like, I have these extra 4 slots.
No, I mean 10 out of 10 for style. I hope it's for this matchup. It might just be for Valakut though.
Yeah. I mean, it seems better against Valakut, but I would love to see it here. I wonder what he boards out. Like, what's the, what is bad here?
Bad is a really interesting word for a deck that has Spider Silk Nets in it.
That's maybe.
And this is a matchup where Spider Silk Net's actually good though.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants that nut draw opening. If he can open with the turn 2 Paladin, as long as he has a Spider Silk Net, it gives him such an incredible turn 3. Plus, it actually helps block the Hawks, because I mean, it doesn't actually have any flyers. All right, Alex looking for a white 2-drop. Pure Steel Paladin or Stoneforge Mystic would be the primary ones, but he'd also settle for a Kemba or a sword. Definitely needs to have something productive.
Who's asked? There's the Basilisk Collar. I see a Spider Silk Net. So, I don't know.
He draws a Stoneforge Mystic, so regardless of what he kept it on, it pays off.
Yeah.
Stoneforge Mystic. What's he going to get here? This is the only guy I know who has 11 different pieces of equipment in his toolbox.
He really needs to... oh, he knows what he's going.
Oh, he gets Batterskull.
Batterskull.
Shocking.
Yeah.
He's got Sword of Vengeance, Spider Silk Net. Do you think he ever Stoneforge Mystics for Spider Silk Net?
No. I don't think so. Unless it's the only equipment left in his deck.
We saw a Day of Judgment in Philip Coon, the Cowboy player's deck.
Maybe
he did board in. He definitely did. I mean, we just saw one as he was fanning through.
I did not see any Archive Traps as Alex was searching for equipment, so... Shut down on
Dagger.
That one. But right now we've just got both players with
they could be all in his hand.
Batterskull. I think I saw his hand too.
Yeah, I guess the Stoneforge turn would have gone differently.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alex has a Basilisk Collar on board.
It'll be interesting to see if that ever does anything. So what are we going to see here? I mean, are we just looking at a Stoneforge putting down Batterskull?
It doesn't look like it. Looks like unless he's doing it main phase, which he doesn't need to do.
No, he wouldn't do that.
No, so it looks like Stoneforge putting
I think that was his plan the whole time.
Yeah.
He was just,
Alright, so here we go, and Stoneforge putting down...
It's interesting. Well, Philip has a lot of answers like Divine Offering and Dismember and things like that. Alex has a lot of ways to enhance his germs. Like the ways he has to power up his germs toughness so that he can win Batterskull fights.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there's a, what is that, Mortar Pod?
Mortar Pod drops.
And equips the Mortar Pod with Basilisk Collar.
Which is a good combo.
Yeah, it is.
Now, now we can take out the Batterskull.
Magic players, I'm pleased to announce that we are joined by the Denver Outlaw Dancers. Everybody say hello.
It would appear that the Denver cheerleading team
The Denver
is
Outlaw
actually
dancers are here. Yeah.
In case, for those of you just tuning in at home, we're at the Mile
They
High
will
Stadium.
be taking pictures down by the feature match area if you'd like to go and say hello.
The cheerleading squad apparently is actually showing up and doing a photo op in the feature match area as we speak.
All right, so.
In an unrelated note, I'm going to need a few minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get you some footage.
Yeah, where's the?
Yeah, do we have the
switch to
technology? Do we have
switch
the
to the
ability
player
to-
cam so we can? He just pointed at a camera. Yes, we have cameras.
We have the technology.
Alright, so it would appear that the Batterskull Mortar Pod combination, the Basilisk Collar Mortar Pod combination is doing a pretty good job of locking Philip Coon out of the match. You know? Like, I mean, what's he hoping to draw now until he gets a Divine Offering?
Yeah.
And he still has to address the Batterskull that's beating him down. I mean, this is a good example of Alex doing his thing, you know? Like, this is what his deck is trying to do.
Yeah, there's Sword of Vengeance on the Batterskull, the Germ, so.
Probably not the most relevant sword that he could have played, but it's certainly one of the 4 best in the format.
That's true.
Gets in with the Batterskull, which currently has... How many keyword abilities does the Batterskull currently have?
It's a 6-0.
No, it's
or
6-4.
6-4.
7.
What else on it?
No, I mean, it's a 6-4, but it's got First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, Haste, and Flying.
No flying.
It doesn't have Flying.
First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, Haste.
It has Trample.
Trample, yeah.
More abilities.
So, Philip.
Is that a Sword of Body in this?
So that's a Sword of Feast and Famine, I think, isn't it?
It is Feast and Famine, yeah.
Alright, he passes back to Alex, so.
And this is getting out of control pretty quickly. It's really interesting that the Basilisk Collar Mortar Pod combo is resilient to any kind of creature kill, unlike the Cunning Spark Mage combo.
Yeah, it really is. So on Philip's side of the board, we have Sword of Feast and Famine, Batterskull with a Germ, and a tapped Stoneforge Mystic, and 3 untapped lands. On Alex's side, we have Mortar Pod equipped with Basilisk Collar, a now tapped Stoneforge Mystic, which just vialed in a Sword of Body and Mind, and a Batterskull equipped with a Sword of Vengeance, and now equipped with Sword of Body and Mind.
We're not going to get killed.
Right. So that Batterskull is huge.
Yeah, we got to keep our composure here. That we're getting a little moral support as we speak. If you guys could see what we see. All right, Batterskull is fighting back, a valiant fight, and with Feast and Famine on it,
Yeah,
and
this
it
is-
can't be blocked by another Germ.
This is the Battle of the Batterskulls right here, but
I mean, Alex has 1 billion life. I think this Batterskull is more than anything just out of desperation. I mean, the Germ isn't going to live. The Mortar Pod Basilisk Collar combo ensures that there's very little that he can do to actually continue to advance the game. Meanwhile, Alex's life total is getting to astronomical proportions. Alright, so... Can you imagine if a Pure Steel Paladin comes down and just all that equipment jumps onto something?
oh my gosh, it is nuts. Like, I don't know what's in Alex's hand, but what he's got on board.
So he's got a Basilisk Collar at the 1 spot, a Mortar Pod at the 2, Sword of Vengeance at the 3, Sword of Body and Mind also at 3 instead of the 4, and then the Batterskull at 5. Does he have Tatsumesa, the Dragon Spring?
Unfortunately, it's not in standard.
Keep the
but,
curve.
It would have been good for Philip if he did have it.
Alright, so Phillips still trucking away. I mean, these Cowboy decks are so resilient. No matter how much it looks like you're beating them down, they got so much scrap in them, so much fight.
To the main event stage, please.
So Alex looks like he's about to add a... What is that?
It's
Is it
a foil,
Metamorph?
meaning it's impossible to see on camera.
Yeah. Is it a Metamorph or is it... No.
It's a Kemba.
Oh, okay.
Things are getting progressively more awk as we speak.
Board is not open.
That is a Kemba, right?
That's not... I'm...
I think it's a Kemba.
Oh, wait a minute. trying to get a shot of her artwork so we can at least compare it.
Attention Magic players, pairings for round 2 of Two-Headed Giant have been posted. Please find your seats.
All right.
So.
I'll make sure your wife gets well.
We apologize for the lack of live air. As you can see, both players being very deliberate, and we're currently being overrun with unbelievably beautiful cheerleaders who are currently posing with the judging staff, who's decided to give a little bit of a hiatus to issuing rulings to instead make some friends. We've got to be able to get a camera on this.
Goodwill.
Oh my goodness, the number of Goodwill ambassadors in the building right now, it's beautiful. So Alex now has 3 equipment on his Kemba. So Batterskull bouncing back, keeping a germ on the table, trying to give him more opportunities to actually, like, more bodies. Like, he physically just needs to be able to keep up with the number of cat tokens that are going to be hitting the table. God, this is the type of board state that Mike trained with. That's how he used the draft with his green-white decks, just to try to, bog down the board with, dozens of abilities and try to play people that way who can't keep up with how complex the board was.
So head on down.
We are very nearly approaching World of Warcraft TCG levels of onboard abilities.
Yeah, it's just nuts right now. So, for those of you who wanted to see the view from the booth, check the Twitter account, because I just posted a picture, so you guys can't miss out on all the action.
Alright, we have Philip diligently trucking away, drops a Day of Judgment to try to pick up speed. The perfect solution to Kemba in this case.
Attention
Now, Alex is only Kemba, surprisingly.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, that's something you'd think he'd at least play 2 or something. It's such a good.
I mean, you can only draft what you can draft. So Alex, looks like he draws another Stoneforge Mystic. Doesn't have enough equipment to play. He has so much equipment going. Like, I guess he's a little choked on mana. He just has 4 planes to go with his 5 pieces of equipment. Whereas Philip has 7 land, including plenty of man lands, and a Sword of Feast and Famine, and a grip with a couple more cards, mostly land though and a Batterskull.
So Alex adds a Stoneforge Mystic to the battlefield.
Is he going to get his 6th different equipment?
Yeah, what is he getting here? Is this when he goes
Probably
to
another
Spider
sword.
Silk net? And it looks like Sword of Feast and Famine on the top there.
Oh, he gets the other Batterskull.
Okay. Oh, he didn't already have it?
He has 1 in play. He gets the 2nd Batterskull.
For some reason I thought he had both. I don't know why.
Yeah, so for those who messaging us that he does not actually have 11 different types of equipment in his deck, that's correct. He has only 9. He has 18 total, 9 different names. Alright, up next, Philip's going to have to try to present some sort of offense. Now, if he can successfully equip this Celestial Colonnade with a Sword of Feast and Famine, he can actually start gaining a little bit of some kind of an advantage, Like, it's amazing how many different permanents Alex has that are doing stone cold nothing because he's just choked on mana. Without Pure Steel Paladin, it's just too hard to equip. I mean, at this point, it would cost 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It would cost 18 mana to equip all of his equipment.
I can't believe, well, I guess I can believe, but I feel like this is a Pure Steel Paladin deck, and he, the last game he drew it way too late. This game hasn't even seen it yet. Not to say he's not, not to say he doesn't have a lot of pressure on board.
So, once again, we are witnessing a hero with a new and unique brew using some cool new cards, look to get an early advantage, only to eventually start having struggling with the overwhelming consistency and power of Cobblade. Alex looks like he's got to decide which billion pieces of equipment to put on things. Currently has sitting unequipped a Mortar Pod, a Basilisk Collar, a Sword of Body and Mind, a Sword of Vengeance, and a Batterskull, with just a Spellskite and a Stoneforge to wear them. But he's got another Batterskull in hand. So the question is, what goes where? I mean, does he play the? I mean, does he? Like, he can't play the Batterskull and immediately get in there because Philip has a Batterskull with Feast and Famine on it, right?
Yeah.
This is interesting. He moves the Basilisk Collar over to the Stoneforge Mystic. I mean,
obviously, block Violin Batterskull.
Yeah, but this doesn't do anything.
He's not going to walk into that.
And it doesn't do anything about the Celestial Colonnade continuing to wear the Sword of Feast and Famine. This is pretty remarkable.
It's kind of crazy that Alex isn't running any Tectonic Edges. I mean, in a mono...
Well, he only has 17 planes. He just doesn't have much land in his deck.
Yeah.
I think he just counts on Pure Steel Paladin to fix his game.
Yeah.
Like, if he plays Pure Steel Paladin, he'll just draw.
Taylor Yeldon, please come to the main entrance.
So, Philip, once again, swinging with a Colonnade with a Feast and Famine. Kind of remarkable to see him do so much with so little, where Alex has so much that is doing so little. But Philip playing another Stoneforge Mystic. He's already got a Feast and Famine and a Batterskull. Is he going to get another Batterskull, or is he going to get the War and Peace? He gets the War and Peace. Very, very powerful against the mono weight deck.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It seems like that would be just about the best option. Batterskull, obviously, he's already got one. War and Peace just gives him another angle to attack from.
I wonder how often he actually wants Sword of Vengeance as Sword of Vengeance. Like, if you're going to play that many swords, cool, but maybe you're supposed to just play more good swords.
Yeah, it's not like he's got 8 of the others and 1 of the 9.
I mean, how often do you need the 9th option?
Yeah, I don't even mean... I forgot there's 3 swords, so he could... I mean,
4 swords. He's playing 4 different swords.
I'm just saying, like, why he could play 12 other swords that may be better than Sword of Vengeance, you know?
Name an equipment that is legal that he's not playing.
Yeah, I can't even think. Bladed Pinions. There we go.
He is not playing Blade Pinions. He's also not playing Lash Writhe or Bone Horde.
No Bone Horde?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Why did I think?
Didn't have room. He had 19 equipment and he needed to cut it down to 18. So he thought, in order to fit room for the Spider Silk Nuts, he had to cut the Bone Horde. I don't blame him. He doesn't have any creatures. But looks like they're having some dispute or disagreement about something. I predict that the Cobblade player is probably trying to do something really horrible, like kick puppies.
Trusty Machete.
Trusty Machete. Yeah, one of the most decorated pieces of equipment in the format.
From Still Had These on Twitter.
Basilisk Collar. The Basilisk Collar Mortar Pod combo has been assembled on Spellskite. Alex's life total, meanwhile, has dropped down to a mere 16. However, it's going to be very challenging to continue to advance the board.
So he sacks the Spellskite just to get rid of the Germ.
How does this end? Oh my god.
What's that Germ on? Or what's on the Germ? What's the Germ doing? Is it yeah,
it's a Batterskull, right?
Does he have 2 Batterskulls? Yeah, I guess it is the second Batterskull.
It is the second Batterskull. So Alex has 2 Batterskulls, half a dozen swords, a Mortar Pod, a Pear Tree, and germs like you wouldn't believe. Philip has tons of mana, but thank goodness they're not all planes, so he is serving with Celestial Colonnade every single turn. He only has 3 pieces of equipment, however he has actually enough mana to use them all, so it's...
Ooh, there's a dispatch for the Celestial Colonnade after Philip attempted to equip it with...
very timely.
Yeah, with Sword of War and Peace.
We'll say one thing, those 4 dispatches in Alex's deck work over.
Players, we've got just under 15 minutes remaining to register for today's Legacy Challenge.
So Alex is definitely in on board. That dispatch was basically a time
warp. Great way to tune up for tomorrow's Legacy Open.
Philip is also very quickly running out of life.
It is $10.
I don't know about quickly, but he's running out of life.
Very quickly, he's at 9 life.
Yeah.
At this point, he's looking at,
Now it's gonna get
Interesting.
I mean, every creature's lethal.
Check in with Nicholas. He will get you
Like with
signed up.
he's got Mortar Pod in play, so if he ever gets hit by this, like right now the Germ is wearing a Basilisk Collar, or not a Basilisk Collar, a Sword of Vengeance, a Sword of Body and Mind, a Batter Skull. If he gets hit by it, he'll be at 1 with a Mortar Pod, which is, in case you're wondering,
Yeah, so he
not where
has
you want to be.
Yeah.
Now he does
has
have a
to
Sword of
block.
War and Peace, so he's going to try to gain some life that way. And hopefully he equips something with a, Batter Skull and just tries to make some progress. 'Cause he doesn't actually have any cards in his hand to gain life off War and Peace.
Did he just let that in? Because the wolf
That is a wolf
wolf
token.
just showed up.
I guess he took it. Apparently he is not a punk.
Can we get a life total check?
Can we get a messing around check? Because I'm beginning to think that he is.
Yeah, he is at 1. Okay. And here he's trying to gain some of that life back.
He isn't gaining any life back. He doesn't have any...
He's got
no cards in hand.
Does he have 1?
No, he played a land.
I see 1 sitting there face down
Under
his forearm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's at least 1. I mean,
He's facing a Mortar Pod. How is this anything besides suicide? Oh, because... No, how is this not suicide?
The Mortar Pod doesn't have a germ equipped. I mean, it's going. Yeah, he's got Mana Leak in hand. He's returning Batter Skull and replaying it.
How does this...
I don't know that.
I mean, we've got to... Maybe that other card in his hand's a Divine Offering? It's the only
Mana
thing...
Leak.
It's Mana Leak?
Yeah.
How is he
Yeah,
not
see?
going to die?
I don't know. So he vials in the Batter Skull.
And he doesn't even... What?
He's putting the Sword of War and Peace on the Batter Skull.
And now he spends so much
And then
mana that he
sort of-
can't even bluff Divine Offering.
Yeah, so
He's
now,
just dead to the board.
Yeah, that germ is holding Batter Skull, Sword of War and Peace, Sword of Body and Mind.
But there's a Mortar Pod with multiple creatures. How is this not over? Alex sees it, sees the play. He moves Mortar Pod to the Wolf. And then moves Stoneforge. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Philip didn't see it.
That's really strange. It seems like you have to put Batter Skull on your guy there. I don't know.
That was,
I'm not sure what the thinking. I must have just, I guess, missed.
there was a lot on board. He may have just
Yeah,
missed
and there's
the
like,
Mortar
I mean, obviously every time there's actual 10 pieces of equipment on the table, you might miss an interaction.
It's kind of a lot to pay attention to. So.
All right, so we're going into to game 3. This time, Evil is on the play.
Yeah, mentioning on Twitter, because Sword of Vengeance gives trample, the swords are almost always going to hit. You know what I mean? They're always going to connect whether they block or not. But he still
That's a
did.
very good point. That is a very
I think
good
he still took it all. He didn't have any. I don't think he had anything left to block. Or, like he had the Stoneforge Mystic, but it stayed on the table. So
Yeah, but he could have put Batter Skull on the Celestial Colonnade. And actually just gain 8 life.
Do you have enough mana there?
Yep.
To do that? Okay.
I think so. Who knows? Maybe he was already dead.
Well, we're going to Game 3 here between Philip Coon and Alex Lapping here in Round 6 of the Star City Games Open Series here in Denver, Colorado at Mile High Stadium. Got to throw that in here because it's pretty cool to be at this venue.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, the place we're playing is absolutely beautiful. I mean, they have the door open so you can actually just walk out to where the field is, to where the arena is. And on the other side, got a glass wall with a beautiful view. But it's actually cooled enough that the whole thing is just a really nice setup. And there's a little bit less distractions now that the percentage of cheerleaders has dropped significantly
Yeah.
in the last 5 minutes. But
There's none in sight at the moment unless our runner is a cheerleader. But not sure about that. I mean, I guess some of these other people could be cheerleaders too. But.
So, since it looks like Alexander does not actually have the archive traps, is our hope that he just plays pure steel paladin here and goes nuts?
I want to see that. I want to see him go nuts with pure steel paladin when there's not a consecrated sphinx on the other side of the board.
Yeah, you have to root for the guy who's not playing Jason Stoneforge, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think everybody's kind of pulling for the underdog here.
Underdog. Yeah, let's be honest. Keeping it real.
Were you gonna question that as the label for?
I wonder. I bet Cobblade puts somebody. I bet there's at least one Cobblade in the top 8 of the Vintage Championships this year.
Really?
Yep. I mean, Jason
how do you
Sculptor's
define
all-
it as Cobblade? Just Jace with
Stoneforge.
Stoneforge Mystic and Batter Skull?
It doesn't have to be Cobblade. It just has to be Stoneblade. Just if it has
Okay.
Jace and Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay.
I bet there will be at least one I think there's a good chance that there will be one person, at least one person, with Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor in the top 8 of the Vintage Championship.
Okay, 11-minute extension on this round because of the deck check, and time just was called. Okay, so we have 11 minutes here.
Not a ton of time. Both
No.
of these decks are capable of stalling things out quite a bit.
Yeah.
However, if Alexander actually has a turn 2 Paladin on the play that isn't immediately
wow.
dismembered, it's going to get ugly.
Unfortunately, we didn't realize the game was actually going on, and Alex had a turn to Stoneforge Mystic, it looks like, and so did Philip. Philip obviously got the Batterskull and filed it in.
Yeah, we were talking about time travel earlier. We have just time travel to turn 3.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Batterskull coming in there. It's interesting. What's, like, despite, like, I mean, Philip was on the play, so he's one turn ahead on this Batterskull, but presumably Alex has a Batterskull of his own, and he does.
There it is.
Now, it looks like Philip does not have a Divine Offering this time. Alex's board, 4 planes, a Basilisk Collar, a Stoneforge Mystic, and a Batterskull with a Germ. Philip having a Germ Batterskull, a Stoneforge Mystic, and just 3 land. Misses his 4th land drop, actually.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Alex kind of takes the play.
And if there's something that we've seen today, it's that consistently when people miss their land drop early, it's definitely coming back to haunt them in as tempo-oriented of a format as we see currently. So the Mortar Pod hits the table. He has the Mortar Pod Basilisk Collar combo.
Yep. Nice way to fight that germ.
What's interesting, he did not mana leak the Mortar Pod.
He viled it in.
Oh, yes, he
But
Stoneforged
he
into play.
went right around the
The
mana.
classic vial. Just make your spells uncounterable. So Philip has a full grip of gas, but with only 3 land, he's going to be choked. He's going to have a lot of trouble playing more than 1 card per turn. He's got a lot of cards that don't really do much against the Stoneforge Mystic, like Spell Pierce.
So Alex looks like he sacrificed his germ to deal with Philip's germ.
Right, giving him the Batterskull advantage. Alex swinging. Now Alex does have
It's Philip's turn, right, I think, isn't it? Or did Alex just...
No.
Oh, was it that... he just passed the turn right back? Okay. For some reason,
So Philip draws and gets the 4th land.
Okay.
Now he has access to Day of Judgment, but he's probably not going to want to use it quite yet because he's got the Stoneforge Mystic. He wants to waste some of Alex's time first and try to get as much value as he can out of this.
Right.
It's tough though, he still doesn't have a 2nd blue, so the Jace the Mind Sculptor is just rotting in his hand. He doesn't really have a lot of ways to advance the board right now, but it looks like his next play is going to be vialing down a Stoneforge, either vialing down the Sword of War and Peace that's in his hand, and mana leaking something, or possibly just bouncing the Batterskull.
Yeah.
It's tough, because that Mortar Pod Basilisk Collar combo is definitely... Alright, so 2nd Stoneforge Mystic attempted by Alex, which will surely draw a mana leak.
No.
Doesn't?
Does not draw the mana leak.
Interesting. Does he not think this is bad for him? I mean, Alex has only got 2 planes untapped, right? I'm not sure what you could possibly be saving it for. I mean, maybe... Well, the problem is that, like, Day of Judgment doesn't actually stop all these pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if your plan is to just wait a couple more turns anyway, you figure you'll hit the Germ, he's already got a Batterskull anyway, and you'll hit the Stoneforge, so why not hold it? But...
Yeah, it just seemed like a perfect opportunity to play mana leak and Envile on the sword.
Maybe he's just that sure that it won't matter.
So he
Without
gets his
thinking,
fifth
he
land.
plays his land, ensuring that he will not gain more life off of Inkmoth Nexus attacking this turn. So we have Sword of War and Peace, Batterskull, Stoneforge Mystic, and 5 land, including an Inkmoth Nexus. To Alex's 4 basic planes, Stoneforge Mystic, Batterskull, another Batterskull in hand, Mortar Pod, Basilisk Collar, and another equipment that is off screen. So where's Philip going with this now? I mean, he's sitting on some counter spells, a Jace that he still can't cast, and a Day of Judgment. Day of Judgment is obviously the most powerful card that he has going, but he needs to try to get some value out of the Inkmoth Nexus. Chooses not to equip it with the Sword of War and Peace. Ah, the viled down Mortar Pod. Shooting the Inkmoth Nexus anyway. Maybe he saw that play coming.
Yep. Back to 4 lands for Philip.
It's kind of interesting how good these white 2-drops are in Alex's deck. The Stoneforge Mystic and Pure Steel Paladin.
Well, some people say Stoneforge is pretty good.
Pure Steel Paladin's no slouch.
No, I'm just waiting to see one like actually make an impact. I mean, I did see it earlier, but it wasn't on the feature match. So there's a Flare Husk.
Committing another Mons' Goblin Raider to the table. But when you have 6 other pieces of equipment, every Mons' Goblin Raider is potentially fatal. Moves the Mortar Pod over to the Flare Husk. And Philip bounces the Batterskull. Draws a...
Thank you.
Is that a Divine Offering? It's so tough. I mean, the Divine Offering's a good card, but... Decides now is the time to Day of Judgment. It's interesting that he would pick this turn. But he does. And with Alex having only 4 land, as long as Alex doesn't draw a creature or a land, he has nothing. He just has 6 pieces of equipment and 6 cards in hand.
I believe he has a Spellskite. Yeah.
I mean, he's got 6 cards in hand. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how many possible equipments he could have in his
Yeah.
hand. Spellskite hits. What's he going to equip with first? Oh, nothing yet. What's that? Pure Steel Paladin?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Pure
gosh.
Steel Paladin.
He
Oh.
equips the Spellskite. No, he equips the Pure Steel Paladin
With
with
everything.
Stone Cold everything. Do we have a check on the power and toughness of the Pure Steel Paladin?
Yeah, we need to be able to see what he just stacked underneath his Pure Steel Paladin.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
there's-
I did
there's
say I wanted one to make an impact.
Right, so there's a Batterskull, a Basilisk Collar, 2 Mortar Pods,
A Flare Husk.
a Flare Husk. Does he have a second Batterskull or a sword? I mean, I think
Well,
he has one
actually,
other-
we're looking right here, so alright, there's Batterskull. Okay, we can get to see it as well, but
Do we have a spotter on the floor that can tell us just how big the collection is?
so
There we
they're
go,
just
laying
spreading
it out.
So we have Batterskull.
Is a, let's see, 4, 6, 7. So it's a 7/9 Death Touch, Life Link, Vigilance that can sack to deal 1 damage. Also, all his things equipped for free and are cantrips.
Yeah, and so he just played a second Spellskite, which resolved, and then he's playing a Mortar Pod, and that got countered by Spell Pierce.
Yeah, it seems weird to lead with the Spellskite instead of the Mortar Pod.
equipment, yeah, especially when you've already got a Spellskite. So he's moving some equipment around here.
Definitely Pure Steel Paladin is doing his thing.
Yeah, so it looks like Philip stopped him up real quick.
Divine Offering
Divine-
the Batterskull, perhaps? What is
He's
he
definitely
Divine
playing
Offering?
Divine Offering.
I guess
but-
it's Divine Offering on a Spellskite, right?
Yeah.
So, Alex, moving his equipment onto Spellskite again. Now he has a Paladin with a Flare Husk, a Batterskull, and a Mortar Pod, and he has a Spellskite with a Basilisk Collar and a Mortar Pod. Philip, meanwhile, finally has a second blue because his second colonnade's gonna finally untap. But it's not really clear that this is going to be enough. I mean, once he's behind the gun on this Pure Steel Paladin, I mean, he really, really, really needs to actually. But he doesn't really have any answers to Pure Steel Paladin once it has that much equipment on it.
Yeah, it's, Jace Bounce.
Yeah, but that's such a temporary solution.
Yeah, it's not actually an answer so much.
And
as
Jace
a-
Bounce isn't working on Spellskite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we're definitely seeing Spellskite locking Philip out of counterplay. Oh, he draws another Day of Judgment.
That'll work.
That will definitely work. So, all of Alex's fun is over.
And our fun with it.
So now we're back at the point of if Alex draws a land, he can actually present another creature. Looks like he's a Spellskite, so at least he's got a guy. He's going to start equipping it very slowly. Oh, he does have one more
There's
land.
a
Okay.
Batterskull. For
So-
5. Card cast.
So Batterskull is about to get busy. Both players having a million life because all their guys have lifelink.
So is this going to be Jace Bounce? here?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And this is the beginning of a very good comeback. Such a good move for Philip boarding in those Day of Judgments.
Yeah, I mean, that's been key here. We have a spell skite. And...
Draws the mana leak. Nope.
Or does it? He was thinking about it.
Looks like he's still tanking. Dude, he wants to save the mana leak for that Better Skull, but it's not really going to play out that way. Wow. Chooses not to counter it. Seems strange. Spellskite picks up a Mortar Pod. Philip sitting on a Batterskull, a Mana Leak, unknown card, 6 land including a Colonnade and Tectonic Edge, with both a Jace at 2 and a Sword of Worn Peace. Meanwhile, Alex has every legal equipment in the format in play.
Pretty much. No Hammer of Ruin.
No Hammer of Ruin, which I'm not actually sure is out of the question compared to some. I mean,
yeah.
Like when the heads up, like.
It's turn 0 and we're in turn 3 right now.
Oh, okay. So
Wow.
we looks like this is going to be a draw because Philip was apparently turn 0 and how are we in turn 3 if he was?
Sorry, he were in turn 2. I apologize.
Okay, we're in turn 2.
And it looks like Philip just found a Sun Titan. How can either of these players present lethal in time?
I don't think they can.
I mean, if he would have mana leaked that Spellskite,
He may have been able to.
I mean, how are you going to deal 23 damage in time?
You could do poison.
Yeah, is he going to Ink Moth next him?
Not with
Nexus him?
the Spellskite with a Mortar Pod in play. So you're looking at turn 2 of the 5 extra turns. Let's see.
Because Alex is turn 3 then.
So if Alex draws a Pure Steel Paladin this turn, he can equip. No.
Not dispatch. So it's actually turn 3 right now.
Yeah, but the
Players, this is a final call to register for the Legacy Challenge. Once again, this is a final call to register for the Legacy Challenge. Come on up and see Nicholas. He'll get you signed up.
pretty sure this one is a done data. We are looking at a draw. Although,
Yeah,
this does not count as a win for Evil.
that's true.
Looks like Good was able to at least force a draw.
I wonder, like, because that game 1 looked like it went a little. I felt like it went really long, with Alex not, you know,
Really competitive for a long time.
Yeah.
What if he would have just conceded earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the right play.
Sort of feast and famine from Philip, and Inkmoth Nexus attempts to equip. It looks like it went there, so yeah. Inkmoth Nexus in for 3 poison.
And this is turn 3 or 4?
I think it's 4. So I don't get where he's going. Is that what is that?
So Batterskull for just 1 mana less than it costs?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Looks like it's just a Batterskull for 4 instead of 5.
Yeah.
Oh, he tapped it now.
Okay, there it
Somebody
goes.
corrected him. And that's it.
Yeah.
So, in the riveting conclusion of Pure Steel Paladin versus Callblade,
Yeah.
we
Unfortunately, don't get to see
end
an
up with
actual
a
winner. Yeah.
no result.
Yeah, it's just
How-
just a draw there.
But you know what?